Hey everyone, this is Snark with Snark's Domain. Oh, just had to fix the audio there. Hope you guys are having a great day. I guess it's Friday where I'm at. Soleos. So, oh wait, am I saying that right? Soleos. I'm just waking up. I haven't had enough coffee yet. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Have I tested Thermal Grizzly V2 yet? No, I have not. I have it in stock. I've also got a bunch of other phase change materials, including the phase sheet PTM from Thermal Grizzly. I've got the G-Lid stuff. We've got the Maxtor XTP. We got Upsiren 1 and 2. We got Honeywell from, I don't know, 6 different sources. So including Mod DIY, we got Caplink stuff. We got stuff from AliExpress, so I got stuff from eBay, I've got stuff from Amazon. I have to get a sensor so I can calibrate the ambient temperature sensors. I stopped my GPU and CPU core testing I guess earlier this year when I realized it wasn't accurate enough for me to think the results were meaningful. So I've got like a big roster of stuff I want to test. The calibration sensor I want to buy is, I forget what model, but it's like a Fluke. I think it's a Fluke sensor. It's about $1,200 Canadian. Yeah, I just didn't have $1,200. I could my wife would not have been happy. But I'm gonna probably sell a couple of video cards, and then I'll be able to buy that, and then I will definitely get into testing phase change materials for you guys. So, it's gonna be fun. Thanatos, good to see you, buddy. We've also, what's up, gang? We got Rashab Takur. Hopefully I didn't pronounce that. This is versus Upsiren UTP8. This is versus like all the putties. there's like, I don't know, 3 dozen putties that we have tested so far. So, did I get any sleep? Not tons. All right, so we have the Jaws of Putty. Yeah, it's which is a good thing. Well, I like the Jaws of Putty. It doesn't. Not all putties have to be the same either. Yeah, like we'll get into the results later. Obviously, you know, this is the entry level for Thermal Grizzly for their thermal putty, and they've got 2 tiers above. So, like, the performance of this is not obviously going to be at the top of the chart or anything, but some good qualities that this putty does have are that it's very soft, which makes application difficult sometimes. If you're trying to do my typical method where you're like rolling putty, you're not going to be able to roll this stuff. But this is the putty you want, I think. And I have to test the others and see how thick they are. But this is the putty you would pick if you wanted to stick with Thermal Grizzly putty and you wanted to run shims, or if you had a laptop with like really thin gaps and you're having, you know, compression issues, and maybe it had putty from the factory and that was really liquidy and quite thin. This is an option. There's other options out there, but this is it's nice to have another suitable ultra thin putty for those applications. So I just had someone contact me yesterday, and they had their laptop apart. They'd cleaned up the putty from the factory already. They didn't manage to salvage it, and then they tried thermal pads, and it wasn't going to work. Their gaps are way too thin, like less than, I want to say less than 0.5 millimeter. So, you know, they went with Helmseye. They bought some Helmseye HY236, so they're waiting for that to show up. But they were asking, you know, like what putty to go with, and when you're doing ultra thin gaps, you can't use a top of the chart thermal putty. You have to use something that can squish down really easily. Whereas a lot of laptops have more standard gaps that are perfectly fine to use the top end putty. So it's you know, at first I was like, oh, why did Thermal Grizzly come out with 3 variants? And actually, I think it's probably a good thing, because there are times when you're going to want a squishier putty. So, did I get any sleep? No. The basic version looked quite toothpaste consistency. Yeah, it's definitely, let's, you know, let's look at the core contact patch. Just make sure everything looks okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks decent. It's pretty typical. You know, when I do pads, I'll notice on this side right here that it's thicker paste, right? But when I'm running with putty, we're getting even contact. That's why you pick thermal putty. Yeah, there's some good pads out there. Try getting even core contact. Sorry, I'll zoom out again. With thermal pads. There are some pads that are very soft, and they can also be on the expensive side because they're that soft. So cleanup is, I'm going to say, like, it's expected to, you know, this is a soft putty, so it's going to be on the messier side, but this is not bad. It's definitely still soft. Nothing has like dried up and cured just from the, 7-8 hours of testing I did. So that's good. I need some coffee. All right. So after this, I'm gonna obviously run tests on this stuff today, and no promises. If I have time before I go to my Christmas party, I'll do another stream. We'll take the card apart, take a peek at it, and look at the Advance application and run through those numbers. That way we have like 2 results today. And then I'll put it back together with the Advance. I'm not going to put Pro on it until we're ready to test it. And that'll have to be when I come back tomorrow. If I find time. I think I will find time away from the family. But I got to spend time with them too. It is Christmas season after all. And my parents flew in last night. My sister shows up this afternoon. Of course, I won't get to see them until I come back from my Christmas party, so be a fun time. If there's if there's one thing that oil field companies know how to do well, is throw a party. I mean, I guess it's nothing extravagant, but it's just always a good time. Sometimes it's too good of a time, and then you're feeling the effects the next day. But Warren again, good to see you, buddy. Can't wait for the results. Well, you're gonna have to, my friend. The charts are excellent. Well, the charts are okay. I think I want to like simplify the charts, but then I also think it's important to have, like, for the data hounds out there, to have like all of the numbers including ambient and not just like calculated delta. So I'm torn, and I don't want to have like too many charts, but at the same time people want different things, and it's not difficult for me to have a few different charts. And then I'm also doing that bar chart now, which is like a nice visual, because the putties are not like, well, they're ranked, kind of, a little bit, but the rank doesn't matter, it's the temperatures. And so sometimes you're looking at the chart and you're like scrolling down, and there's like a list of, 5 or 6 products that basically achieve the same temperature within like 0.1 or 2 of a degree Celsius. Those ones that are 5 positions down, they're not actually in a lower position. They're basically tied, especially considering the accuracy run out of my tests. I can't guarantee like more accuracy than the equipment is capable of. And this is an NVIDIA video card, so the memory junction temperatures, it's like 2 degrees Celsius resolution. Like, picture that. These memory junction temperatures, it's like 80, 82, 84, 86. There's no 81, there's no 81.5. So I'm limited by this equipment. And that's why we are going to be moving to Test Bench 3 using an AMD card, which at least shows a 0.1 degree resolution. So that's 20 times the resolution. And we're also going to have better control over the ambient airflow and monitoring and stuff. So it's going to be more accurate testing. Initially, that's going to focus on phase change materials and then maybe some pastes probably. And then I'll move to putty again on that one, and we'll rebuild the charts. And these current charts will become the obsolete ones. We're always going to try and get better as we can afford to. But I do have a wife and 2 kids, so it's not like I can't spend all my money on this, unfortunately. You guys seen the prices of the groceries out there? Like, I don't know prices for you guys, and it's going to be different because I'm in Canada, so Canadian dollars, but like a dozen eggs, so 12 eggs, is like $4 to $7. So almost, 50 cents an egg average. A pound of butter is like $8 to $9 Canadian for a single pound of butter. So, a jug of milk, 4 liter, you're looking at $6, $7, $8, somewhere around there. Maybe more. We usually buy the 2 liters, but stuff's expensive. So, yeah, we're going to have to just wait on that. Rashab the Cour, that wasn't as messy as I thought it'd be. It's not that bad. I've seen worse. Like T Global A7000 was super messy. Like it was just held tenaciously around the VRAM. It was like on the stickier side. I don't mind this, and I think this is just another decent option for really thin gaps and shims, but I guess we'll see what the numbers say. I mean, I have a rough idea, just because I don't just turn it on and walk away. I like watch it for a few minutes, make sure everything's safe, but it was, so. Okay, we've basically got this cleaned up. It helps that I know, like, to prep for this, like, by cutting the Q-tips at a 45. That works as, like, a really nice, soft point that you're not gonna, don't apply too much force, but it's great for getting in little cracks and crevices. Yeah. Born Again, all I'm interested in is the final numbers and easy chart to see the best templates. So I'd say either the mobile narrow one is like the easiest to like bring up on a phone, or the bar chart, because then you can like just see the bars of temperature rather than the numbers. And like the full chart is for those folks that really just want to look at the numbers and don't care about the rest. Everyone's got their own preference of what they like. I do want to make this fairly clean because I don't want to cross-contaminate, because I would like to salvage the putty. I mean, I've also cleaned this card about 100 times, so I've lost track. I actually don't know how many times this card has been apart, and it would be a bit of an effort to figure that out. Really just time. I have a hard time justifying sitting down for something like that, but it's lots. Okay, let's get some paste on this. If I can find my thermal, there we go. Ooh, somewhere. So, yeah, we'll zoom in here, show you guys how I do my paste. Sure that's clean. Like, you could get this done with less paste, but obviously I'm trying to keep everything super consistent for testing. My theory behind putting a dot in the middle is that's the first point of contact, and it's going to spread out like a wave, like a droplet, or like a stone cast into a pond. It's just like a wave of paste going outwards. That's my idea. I don't know. Anyways, let's get into the putty here. Just gotta make a bit of room. Got too much stuff on my desk as per usual. And we are going to wipe this area because I'm pretty sure we're going to be rolling this putty today. With gloves on, of course. Still got to buy more gloves. Actually, no, I do. I have a whole bunch of gloves. I forgot about that. That's a nice thing about having Costco. You know, you can buy 4 packs of isopropyl alcohol for like really cheap, the 99% stuff, which is nice. Okay, which one we're doing this one? So this is Putty Advance. It's 30 grams. That's what the box looks like. It's a little foldy box. It's a German flag right there. There's a green symbol, which I think means good for the environment or recycling or something. And there's a little guy throwing out 3 little upvotes, one for each of the putties. I don't know. And I'm gonna try not to damage the box, but I do have gloves on, which I probably should have left off for a bit. We got 3 more little shovels, which is nice because it's winter time and there's snow outside. So I have to do some shoveling afterwards. Maybe I'll use these. If my daughter helps, I could. You know what? Before we get too much further, I guess these are different colors, but I'm going to put the Putty Basic away. That way I don't mix up the containers, but I think this one's going to be blue, if I'm correct from what I saw on Igor's post and the Tech Power Up one. And it is. That's good to know. Okay, we're definitely... Okay, we'll use a shovel to scoop it out. Just gonna... I'm sure it was probably clean. I just don't want to take the chance of any oils or anything. And we got to make sure it's dry now. I don't always wash these things when they're first brand new out of a package. Usually I just use them, but okay. Sorry, I'm a bit of a perfectionist sometimes. Not always. Try my best. All right, so we're gonna scoop out. Oh yeah, I mean, first impressions, good. Oh yeah, there we go. That's putty right there. Wow. Yeah, it's very soft and pliable. It's very soft. It's it's on the edge of being able to be rolled, I think, if I'm being honest. Well, we can roll it. It's yeah, we're rolling it. Getting it to about 6 millimeters. Let's get the calipers. Might as well just going to be a little bit awkward here. Yeah. I mean, it helps that I've done this a million times. This is so sticky. It's not sticky. It's sticky enough. I don't think I'm going to dab the surfaces to prep them. Something like that. I'll just lay that log across there. I mean, it's handleable. It is. Okay, we're gonna dab it. We're gonna dab it. So this is a technique to make it, to lay down a layer on the VRAM. It's gonna make it so when I set a putty down, it's gonna adhere to it really well, and just makes it so I don't have to, because this is quite soft, so it's wanting to. I can't press down on the putty to make it stick because it's not firm enough to take the load. So that gives me high expectations for the Putty Pro. I haven't handled that yet. We'll do that tomorrow sometime. I'm not going to do it until I do it with you guys live. I think that's important. You get my candid first reaction to it. So okay, let's try this again. We're going to cut a log, and we're going to, you could, if you wanted to use a syringe on this, it would be pretty straightforward. It's really stretchy. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll see what Putty Pro is like, but I actually think this could, the viscosity, you could go up a little bit. Just a little bit. And you could use, your finest powder or whatever, and it would, you wouldn't lose your minimum bond line. I think that's my advice to Thermal Grizzly on this one. It's just add a tiny bit more, not much. Like, it's just, what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to roll a log like this, and I want to be able to pick it up, and I want it to not do that so quickly, if that makes sense. I want to be able to, let's do that again here, because if I'm rolling a log, it takes me a few moments to pick it up and move it over to the card, and in that time, if it stretches out, it makes it difficult to keep the size, which then throws off. I'm not going to get full coverage then. So if you guys are wondering why I'm rolling logs and not flattening putty, if you haven't watched my channel before, I calculate the log diameter based on, you can either do on the factory gap or the factory thermal pads, or you could measure the gap, or if you happen to know that. Well, pads get compressed, so you could either fill the space that the stock pad is designed, or the size, or the actual gap itself. This card used 2mm pads. The actual gap was about 1.8 millimeters. So you just calculate the the cross section of the thickness and the width, and go from there. And it makes it pretty easy math to do the log method. The log method is my preferred method for putties that can be handled. And this one, I would totally, if I had 100 grams of this right now and was applying it to a card, I'd still roll it. But it's a little bit tricky to place those logs, so it could just use a tiny bit more viscosity. And the Putty Basic, I would probably just leave that one alone. based on it's okay to have a putty that's on the stickier side. There are different use cases, right? Like a DDR5 aftermarket heat spreader kit. Like, have the sticky putty that's like gets super thin. It'd be perfect. So we're just gonna reshape the TG PP10. This stuff's been on here for years. It's also been off a couple times. I've cleaned the surfaces and effectively removed some of the silicone oil, which has actually dried this TG PP10 out a little bit, but it's still soft enough to reshape. And so it's still good. Saw a post on Reddit, and the guy's like, oh, you know, putties expire. People are recommending using it past their expiry date. It's not an expiry date, man. It's a shelf life. A recommended shelf life where the manufacturer can still guarantee the consistency. And that's going to matter a lot more in automated applications where you're applying a certain pressure to a piston, to like an applicator gun, and you're squirting the stuff out. Well, you know, that's programmed to a fixed pressure, so which then gives you kind of a fixed flow rate and a bit more control that way. Sorry, I'm going to catch up on the comments in a second here. Just want to get this guy turned around. Can we get the prices have been a little bit oof. Yeah, should have donation goals for equipment you need for better testing. I do. I've actually got a coffee link thing in the description. I'm just going to do the tilt test here. And my goal is to buy that calibration sensor. I think I've got that one in there right now. So, yeah. This is very soft putty though, so one thing it's not going to suffer from is compression issues. You could overuse this quite a bit and it would still be okay. Just like the Putty Basic, but I would probably look at increasing the viscosity just a smidge. It wouldn't hurt. We're going to test to see how thin we can get this stuff on the calipers here in a moment, so I haven't done that yet for this one. So we've got those 4 screws started, which kind of aligns everything. I like doing that rather than these 4 first. If you did these first center 4 and tighten them all the way down, your card could be off by 1 or 2 degrees maybe, and then maybe these holes out this far don't line up, which would be not ideal. Thanatos, you're stealing that idea. You can steal all the ideas you want, my friend. Nicholas Clifford, why not use limonene cleaner like the Arctic MX wipes to clean quicker and potentially cleaner? I think it's it's a good recommendation. I like the fact that when I go through 10 or 12 liters of isopropyl a year on this stuff, that it's cheap. I can get it from the store at a last minute notice that's like even minutes away. There's like a pharmacy there, and yeah, you could definitely use some products specifically for cleaning up thermal interface materials. My go-to is isopropyl. I've got it in a spray bottle. I've got it in a Q-tip dispenser thing where you just it's kind of cool. You push this down. Thanks Taylor Sharp for recommending this. And it comes out the top, and then you just you dip it in, which is kind of nice. I've also got an eyedropper of isopropyl. They're all 99%. I think it's just my go-to, but there's nothing wrong with your recommendation at all. So, Cilios, can we get a taste test? I'm thinking this one tastes like blueberries, and the Putty Basic tastes like raspberries. That's what I think. But don't actually taste them, because they don't actually taste like that, and they are, I'm pretty sure, silicone based. So you don't want to eat that stuff. It's not going to do your stomach any favors. These screws are like the champion of screws. I don't know what screws Zotac uses, but they're good job, Zotac, and good job iFixit for giving me bits that don't strip the heads out, because as you guys know, that's easy to do on these little screws. Never try torquing the screws. I turn them until they stop. Just cammed out there. I think that means I need another sip of coffee so I can relax a little bit and slow down. But that's the card together. We are going to take a look here. Let's zoom in. Squishy, but this time I didn't use like tons of excess, which is good. So, just gonna take a peek here. Yeah, looks good. I'll zoom out, and I'm gonna place this. Gotta make sure it's not gonna fall on me. That would be horrible. That would be like the worst thing ever if that thing fell. Alright, so we got spatulas all out. Let's get these calipers out and we'll measure. Plus I gotta scroll down. Same consistency as UX Pro and UTP. No, this stuff is softer. So Putty Advance is like really, really soft. I actually think I would make it just increase the viscosity just a little bit, not much. But I think it would be easier to handle. I know that there's these supplied putty spreading shovel things. Really cool tool. It's gonna be nice for, you know, doing stuff. I just prefer the rolling method myself. So it's easier math for me. If you guys aren't familiar, there's a putty calculator, link in description. You can play around with that. You can make a copy using like file and save a copy, and then you are able to enter your own values. There's also a cheat sheet which shows you some quick and dirty pad thickness and pad width, and it'll tell you the log diameter to use. It'll also tell you, well, the putty calculator will tell you how many grams to use. Okay. Well, you know, it's okay, so it is getting down to like 0.10 for a moment there, but then it's springing back to 0.12. So I would say, oh, sorry, 0.11. I would say 0.11, 0.12. Well, see there, it's 0.1 again. This is taking a bit more pressure to compress down that far, which is fine, because you don't really need to press down that far. But if I was doing shims, ooh, I mean, it's close. It would be how comfortable you are applying pressure to your card, and that does come with some risks, right? So the thing is, with shims, it's not the performance of the putty, it's how thin it can get, and filling up the most space with copper or aluminum, or my preference, aluminum nitride, since you don't have the excuse me, electrical risk then. Okay, saved as much as we can. Clean these prongs. 17 people watching today. That's cool. I am a small channel. When it's 2-digit numbers, it's wow, that's big. Good times. All right, let's get this stuff out of the way. Or if my keyboard's like messy or dirty. Oh yeah, it's dusty. Yeah, that's gonna bug me right there. There we go. Hopefully that made you guys happy. So I'm gonna catch up on comments here for a split second, and then we'll go into the numbers. Hey, first time catching a stream. Or wait, the premium price won't represent the result. Yeah, like there are putty prices on the market are all over the place. It's crazy that some products are like the most expensive and also the worst. But I'm not saying that of this. We don't know what these ones are. These are not going to be the worst for sure. First time catching stream. Welcome aboard, Parps. Nicholas Clifford, I suppose what makes it better thermally means it gets more viscous with the increase of thermal components instead of filler. Yeah, well, it's all based on the metallic powders, that they're using, non-electrically conductive metallic powders of different materials and different sizes. There's a science to it. Parbs, I'm going to do a set of DDR5 with LTP81, and the gap between the chips is 6.75 millimeter. You know what? Let's do this really quick, because this will kind of show you guys what the calculator is all about. Let me think. How do I, gonna open up that. Let me just grab the calculator. My drive. This will only take a moment. Okay, we're gonna do the mobile one, and I'm going to open it up in Firefox. I don't have anything in Firefox. And the colors are going to be kind of annoying for you guys. I'm sorry, this is going to be kind of bright for a moment. Let's go second screen. Okay, so your thickness is 0.75. Do I have numlock on? Numlock's on 0.75. Enter. Yeah, I don't know why that's not working. Okay, 0.75. And your chips are going to be, I'm going to say roughly in this range, 12 to 13. So if you do a log diameter of 3.5 diameter log of LTP81 is going to be just fine. That's what I'd recommend. So you just find the thickness here, find the width over here, and then, yeah, that's what I would do. And this is the cheat sheet, which is probably easier to use than the custom size. Oh, I'm on view only because I'm not signed in, so I can't edit it, obviously, and I'd have to make a copy. We're not going to do that, but yeah, normally you'd be able to enter the thickness, width, and length, and it'll tell you how many grams that ends up being, and it'll tell you the log diameter rounded up to the decimal, 1 decimal point there. So that's the calculator. Now we're going to get the stuff. Let's go back to second screen. We're going to do the numbers now, and I'll try and catch up on it. Imagine it being so viscous that it literally boils under heat. Well, the K5 has got some other stuff going on, guys. It's nothing to do with the viscosity on that one. It's that, well, I'm pretty sure it's the base material. I think that's blue, and you, yeah. So the fluid that it's based off of, I don't know what it is, but it's at least from my testing and my experience handling it, using it, it seems to form air bubbles or voids, or maybe just that's what it seems like when you take it apart. We're talking about K5 Pro here, and sorry, it's hard to talk and think at the same time on low coffee power. So that's the problem with K5 Pro. Also, the density is quite low, right? It's around that 2.6. You know, the putties that we're testing at the top of the chart are all around that 3.5. Sometimes they're more. So, and the density isn't like the only thing to focus on. It can definitely change based on the density of the metallic powders, and those could be all over the place. So right now I'm just moving in the calculator sheet. This is not auto calculated. I have to do something before it'll show the correct chart. Okay. Imagine, let's see, what else we got here? Oh, there's like so many messages, probably just as bland as UTP-8 at the taste test. How well does advanced compress compared to basic? The basic compresses a tiny bit easier. Both of them basically achieved 0.1 millimeters. So that was impressive. We're going to do etc hash first. So then I scroll to the top, and what do? I click on anywhere in here, one of these values, and you can see it's currently referencing my calculator Excel file. And what we're going to do is we're going to select all this from those two. Yeah, I can't even think right now. So I did Control C, and I'm going to select all using this little arrow up here. Control F, and we're going to click on the replace. Control V, and we're going to switch it to referencing data, which is this over here. Excuse me, and we'll hit replace all, and then it's going to do its thing up here for like 189,000 and something. 976, 189,976 replacements. Okay, close. All right. So these are actual temperatures, and these are delta temperatures. Yeah, I should probably just I don't really post these charts too often, but we use an entire hour of data for the result. It's not a glance at it. And you can see these memory temperatures. You notice how it like drops 2 degree in 2 degree chunks. Sometimes even, let's see, 80, 85. Yeah, it's like roughly 2 or 3. If we zoomed in, it would be. Anyways, so we're going to use this full hour of data here. I'm gonna. Our voltages on the rails look safe. Control C. Go to this guy. Base values. And we're going to say, where did I get this from? Thermal Grizzly. Yeah, I'm gonna shorten that up to TG. Hopefully you guys are okay with that. And it is a putty. And today is December 20th, 2024. Right, now we'll do fur mark, select all, Control F. And since I haven't closed Excel, it's already still has that in its memory. Parbs, I bought some Upstart thermal pads for my DO, but they were too firm. Yeah, they're definitely too firm. Should I use the LTP81 or something like TP3? So I've heard the Honda pads are soft too. I thought you were going to say too soft. Yeah, the Honda pads are soft. I would go putty if you have putty. If you are buying something, I would still go putty. But, you know, personal preference, whatever you want to do, it's going to be fine. So again, actual temps. Of course, we measure the ambient with 2 sensors in front of the GPU fans, and then we average those out. You can see the average between these two. 83 and 64, or C and D, sorry, columns. Test looks good. This is pretty typical. All right, so we'll use hour 2, obviously. Voltage is creeping down. I probably do need to get this card taken to a shop to replace the 8-pin sockets. I bought some off I think Mod DIY. I just don't have the skill to do it, and I can't risk it yet because, yeah, it's a scary thought to think about taking the card in to get something soldered, and yeah, just a bit of risk there. So. Got to be careful. All right, so when we're looking at the data for specifically the mining tests, which is the ETC hash, which is very memory intensive, and Kapow, this is not representative of what Kapow actually does to cards. Usually people run it in a more efficient way. I'm trying to do it to max out the power of this 3070 Ti, which is 309 point whatever 5.8 watts, something like that. So when we see these little vertical drops here, this would be something that would be easy to miss if I didn't chart this, right? If I'm not scrolling through and looking at 3,500 lines of values, this is my tattletale here, and we would not use this hour. Of course, we only care about using really hour number 2, and in this case, it's good data. If there was one of these drops over here, then I would use this hour instead. If I only had 2 hours, I would try and like clip a full hour somewhere in this span. So I'm just trying to explain my process for some of the new viewers, just so they can see what I'm doing, what I'm up to. Okay, let's Thermal Grizzly TG Putty Basic. Let's scroll over this way. So this is the big chart, this is the narrow chart, and then this is the horizontal chart, and then this is the vertical chart. I think I like the vertical chart, so I'm just going to add it down here initially. Don't worry, it's not going to stay here too long. Putty Basic. Also just getting over a cold, so that's fun. Well, actually feel mostly better, but you know how colds can be take a while to, actually escape out of there. We're going to copy this part and put it into there. Okay. Mark. These values. Kapow. Alright, let's do ETCS first. So 58.8. Yeah, let's put it right in there. Interesting. Interesting. We'll see 58.8. That is. Oh, I didn't do that right. There we go. Okay. Remark. 53.8. Looks like it's gonna appear. See. I mean, yeah, it's decent. It's decent for the entry level. If it's like on par, 69.5. It's gonna be right here. Huh. If it's on par with TG PP10 and super soft, I mean, for Putty Basic, that's I think that's a good spot to be. I think, you know, I mean, it'd be nice if the performance was a little higher or the price was lower. Here's the thing, right? Thermal Grizzly putties are going to be putty is all about accessibility. It's also price, but it's accessibility and speed of shipping. So that's a good first like foot plant, right? We're going to see where the Putty Advance and Pros end up. This looks like a really big chart, but it's really pretty tight up here. You know, from 64 to 60, a four degree span is like a dozen products, and that includes some pads, which part of me wants to just take all the pads out and have a pad chart separate and just have putties, because people are going to decide if they want pads or putties, and then they're going to look at charts and be like, oh, which one? But that is the result for Putty Basic. This is all the tests I've done with this rendition of testing on Test Bench 2. Of course, this card also did testing on Test Bench 1. So I'm going to catch up with we're going to save this. I'll take screenshots and upload these both to the Discord and the Google Drive shortly. But let's work through the comments here. If you guys have any further comments and questions, I'm a little bit behind, obviously. Explodey Lappy, hey Curry buddy, how's it going? Seems like you need more force for them to press into the same thickness as basic, but maybe 0.01 matter less than one would think. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's going to take a little bit more force to squish the Advance, but not much. It's very soft. It is. I think it's a little too soft. It'd be kind of cool to see it just a little more viscous, so I can roll the log, pick it up, and drape it over the card, and then like chop it to length there, rather than it wanting to stretch out like soft bubblegum. Grant Hampson, watching, listening while cooking dinner in South Africa. My friend, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. The brightness, yeah. Sorry, Curry. The Thermal channel. Oh, you didn't miss it, man. You're here. Welcome to the street, Parbs. Thanks for showing the calc. Big help. Yeah, hopefully yeah, you find it useful. Yo, bought some Hylos V2 because of you. Nice. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked him out yet, go check out the Thermal channel. You could just literally type in the Thermal channel into YouTube, and he's testing stuff out too. He's covering tons of paste, so it's pretty awesome to see. Parb says, how does the LTP81 compare to UTP8 in softness and handling? I consider them very well matched and similar, but one is strawberry flavored and colored, the other one's gray. And oh, my wife's looking at me, so I gotta go upstairs really soon. You've moved all your production gear to Hylos V2. Yeah, Hylos V2 is looking pretty good. And keep up the great work, man. Kooky Monkey, I've been waiting for your testing of Thermal Grizzly's Putty. You're my go-to reviewer for thermal interface materials. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. I'll try my best. But also, it's also good to have other sources too, so, you know, you see other people testing it, see what they're doing, and, you know, make an informed decision with, like, we're going to have more sources on this kind of information, I think, going forward, and that's going to be really good for the industry. For basic, that's pretty darn good for a putty you can easily buy for an everyday consumer. Yeah, for sure. Do you think this stuff would dry out like their pastes? No, I don't. Putties don't experience direct pressure. The pressure is going to the core. Pads do, right? If you start with a 2mm pad and you're compressing it down to 1.8, it's constantly under load. It can't release that pressure. Putty flows out and just fills the space as needed, and then when it heat cycles and the oil wants to expand a little bit, because materials expand when you heat them up, well, the oil can't get anywhere in a pad, so what's it going to do? It's going to leak out. That's why pads leak oil faster. That's why they dry. Same thing with pastes. Pastes are getting direct pressure constantly and then heat cycling, and the oil is going to want to expand, but the pressure is keeping those surfaces together. The oil's got to go somewhere, so it leaks out a tiny bit. This is my theory on it anyways. I would have to do a bunch of stuff to prove all that, but that's my gut. It's telling me that that's what's happening. Explodey Lappy, how much does Putty Basic and Putty Advance cost again? You know, it's a bunch. And currently it's only in like 30 gram increments, so it'd be interesting to see. It'd be nice to have 20, 50, and 100 grams containers. That'd be pretty cool. Daniel M, good to see you, man. Long time no see. Mostly because I haven't been on, not because you haven't been watching YouTube stuff, I'm sure. Yeah, data is king. 100% Thermal channel. Like, we've got to just trust the numbers, and there's things that are not the numbers, like how soft it is in handling. That is also good, but we have to still base stuff off the numbers. So, Zaza, welcome to the stream. First time catching you live, mate. I really like your channel. If you're wondering why some ask if they should go with pads instead of putty, the main reason could be the tax and shipping. Well, yeah, it's hard for Europe. At least for me in Europe, shipping 100 gram putty is sometimes 30 euros. Oof. Jan Makuda, welcome back. 50 bucks for 100 grams, and advanced is 90 USD for 100 grams. Well, and guys, you can get 100 grams of putty for like $35 to $40. Or if you go like Allen's Eye, you know, there's some deals out there. You could even go old school CXH 1300, which obviously the batch inconsistencies kind of suck and how stiff it is. I don't like CXH 1300 anymore. But it would be nice if they fixed their performance and softness and did a slight name change and re-released to the market. Daniel, I'm good to have you back. Yeah, man, it's good to be back. I've been pretty busy lately with work and life and stuff, so it's nice to be back in the saddle, as it were. Listen, guys, thanks for checking out my stream. Yeah, Snark's Domain stickers. Someday those'll, I don't know. Well, I'll probably have something where you can get a sticker somehow. That'll be in the future. But Rice D, when do you think you'll have a vid comparing this to Upsiren? Well, yeah, I mean, I've already tested Upsiren. It's on the chart. Excuse me. And all these live streams, you can search all the live streams I have. I think there's over 100, and you can just find the product name and then see what that stream. You can see the application, and if you watch the stream after that one in chronological order, then that's usually me taking it off the card. So again, the current chart right now for etc hash is this. You can kind of ignore the shims. Not many people are going to do that. And then the 3D graphite pads, those conduct electricity, or can if they break. It's got thermal graphite film, so be careful. We got Honeywell HT 10,000 up at the top, and then UTP8, LTP81, UX Pro. It's a little bit stiffer, and then we got Laird T Putty 910. That's coming in a respectable, like this span right here. We're talking about 1 degree. You've got a bunch of putties and some pads. But for pads, the softest ones would be those Fahondas. So if you want comparisons, you can look in the video description. There's a link for the test chart repository, and you can also find these charts on Discord. When looking at these charts, because people sometimes share these online, which is fine, look at the date and see if it's a current chart, because yeah, that date will tell you. Actually, I need to update that, don't I? Update the date. So just keep that in mind. Always look for the latest charts. That's my best advice. Oh, I realized I didn't have that on. Sorry, guys. Wow. Okay, you can see here. Honeywell HT 10,000. Oh, that's Kapow. And I have to live in the inconsistency of all three of these charts not all saying the exact same thing. I can't change that. I can only process the data and post what I see. You can see the watts used here. You can see how Furmark is inconsistent, which kind of sucks. You can see how Kapow is once again consistent. And maybe that's because these aren't doing graphical output to the monitors like Furmark does. Or maybe it's something else. I don't know, but that's why I trust these two a little bit more. And when I'm testing pads and putty, I personally trust the etc hash because it's not core intensive. Whereas Kapow, we could have inconsistencies of paste spread and thickness, like ever so slightly, but the VRAM is going to be pretty consistent, right? A 0.001 millimeter change in paste thickness is going to have a more of an effect than a 0.001 effect or a thickness change on the pads or the putty. So let's go back to so Grizzly could be the cheapest putty I can get. Yeah, I mean that's a good point, right? So Thermal Grizzly is going to be accessible in a lot of places. You can find some great putties on AliExpress, and it's just whether you feel like venturing that way or not. I do. I like a lot of the putties I can get. Parps, yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for joining the stream. Carry now, mix all the putty and check the result. I was thinking about that. If the data is right, TP3 is slightly softer. The data is wrong. The TP3s are soft. They're not as soft as the Fahonda 15 watt. You can literally take Fahonda 15 watt pads and smush them up into putty. I did that in a previous video or two. You could use it as a makeshift putty, but as far as putties are concerned, the Fahonda 15 watt pads are coming in at the stiff end of the scale. Hard to tell how these companies do their shore ratings, published data. Yeah, I think the shore ratings are mostly marketing, just like watts per meter Kelvin. So, having personally handled these, the TP3s are soft, but the Honda pads are softer. They're the softest pad I've currently handled. I'd like to test some stuff from Fuji Poly. Hopefully, I can get back in touch with them and see if they'll send me some stuff. So. Well, if I can buy it, I don't mind buying stuff, guys. I don't need free samples. I want to be able to speak my mind, which I'm doing today. Even though technically I got these putties for free after trying to purchase them. Thermal Grizzly got back and was decided to send me some, and I was like, oh, I already bought it. And then they're like, oh, we'll give you a refund or something. They did that, and then they canceled the order, and they reshipped it from somewhere else much closer, and that's how these got here so quickly. So thank you very much, Thermal Grizzly, for sending these putty samples my way. Yeah, it's fun testing this stuff. So I'm gonna get this card back on the test bench and crunching away. It is 10 o'clock. Wow, I do not have enough time. This is not good. Guys, I have to leave at like... yeah, I'm going to have to... I don't think I can do another stream today, unfortunately. I'm going to have to do that tomorrow. But I will start testing it. I'll be able to start the last test and then go. I just got to a slower start this morning, so... You guys all have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out the channel, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Snarks Domain out.